Hi guys, time for another Qashqai mod for you. If you've got kids or people that like to be in the back of your car who have smart devices that need them charging up, you'll know that if you want to keep them charged, you've got to have a wire trailing through to the front of the car to either the 12 volt socket just under your dash, or there's also one in your armrest as well as a USB port there. Now this mod is relatively cheap. I think overall it's going to cost me around about £10 to £15, but most of that is for the part itself. And actually it's incredibly easy to do. If you're not too good with electronics, you should still be able to do it. So what it is, I've just received it here, is this. So what this is, it's a small, relatively small round thing. And if we open this front, we have, get it in camera, we've got two charging ports. Try and get it in focus. I'll try anyway. Two charging ports, and there's also a voltmeter display as well. So if you've got the car off, you can make sure that you've still got sufficient power to get it started again. So I'm just going to run through the tools that you're going to need to fit this, and then we'll head out to the car and get it fitted. Okay, so the tools you're going to need, obviously we're going to need the USB socket first of all. That comes with some wiring, which is great because it's actually already got the terminals on it, which is really useful. It saves us the job of putting the terminals on the end. Obviously you've got one red, one black wire for live and negative. You're also going to need a couple of these, which some people call Scotch Locks. I don't know what the official name is, to be honest with you. They're quite simply, they connect two wires together with the metal piece in the middle. I've got one of each colour just for one live, one negative. You'll need some wire cutters, some sharp wire cutters, because this wire is a lot longer than what we're going to need. And some grips to push these closed, make sure we get a good connection. You're also going to need a hole saw to make the hole that this is going to come through. This one that I've got in my set luckily is bang on the right size, and it's a 32mm hole. You can probably get different size ports, so it's worth checking beforehand. And obviously to get that hole cut, we've got a drill as well. So that is all you need, dead simple. Next thing we're going to do is get down to the car and start fitting it. So down into the car now. In the back I've put the passenger seat forward, covered in scuffs because my lad who sits in the back. But yeah, put the passenger seat forward just to give us a little bit extra room. Now the place I'm going to install this is going to be in the just below this hole here. We'll put it around about there, not too low so it might get kicked by a centre passenger, not too high that we're going to dig into this bit here, so it's going to go about there. Now this piece of trim here is dead easy to remove. You can just pull it off. If you just grab just at the top like that, give it a bit of a pull, it will come away. It's held on with what, 1, 2, 3, about 8 clips it's held on with. You see the metal clips that sit there. Once that's out, you've got access to the wiring that we're going to need, which is this one here. That's the one that goes into the back of the cigarette lighter. Now obviously the next thing we need to do is disconnect the battery, because any work we're going to do on the electrical system, we don't want no power running through it. This 12 volt socket is actually live as soon as you unlock the car, so right now that is live, so we do need to get the battery disconnected, so we'll do that next. Okay, so to disconnect the battery, I didn't tell you to get this tool, any kind of tool, just to undo the nut on the positive side of the battery. All batteries tend to be different, so just have a look at yours, it might be different to this. But I just need to loosen this terminal. And there we go, that's now disconnected. So we'll just put it out of the way so it doesn't re-engage, hopefully. There we go, use the plastic terminal. So there we go, that'll stay out of the way, and that's the car now with no power going through it. Okay, so now with the battery disconnected, we can work on this safely. So back under the armrest, find the socket for the 12 volt port, pull it out by giving it a squeeze and a pull, that pops it out. You can see there's just the two terminals, even though it's got a 3-pin socket on it, there's only two terminals. Excuse the noise, two terminals that are being used. So the next thing we need to do is just give us a bit of working room, so we need to take this protective plastic, whatever it is, just remove a bit of that to give us some room. Okay, so I've removed the covering off that, so we've now just got the wires open. Now the wiring that comes with the this socket is actually pretty good at. It has an inline fuse, which is really useful. So I'm actually not going to cut this down. I'm going to leave it as is. All I'm going to do is cut these two terminals off the end because we don't need them. So I'm just going to give them a cut now. With these super not sharp, there we go, blades, 1 and 2. The way. I mean, you can see we've got a lot of space down here, so if there is excess wiring, it's not a problem. There's enough space for it to tuck into. So now we're just left with the two ends. These ends here are what's going to go onto the socket, which we'll sort out in a bit. So the next thing to do is get these connected to these. So there we go. I've got the two Scotch locks on now. It's always worth testing once you've done this and everything's all good. Put your battery connection back together, and then I've been and fetched the plug, and we can see that it is working. Showing 12.1 volts, so it's fully working. We now know that. So what we can now do is disconnect this and go and start working on getting it fitted to the piece of trim. Okay, so now we're happy that the wiring's all good. We can go ahead with getting the hub positioned onto the back of this trim, brought inside just to make life a bit easier. So I'm hoping to get it somewhere, obviously that's how it sits in the car. I'm hoping to get it somewhere just below there, because like I say, if you have it too low, it's going to get kicked, you know, by people maybe going across the back seats or someone sat in the middle. But you don't want it too high, because then the angle of this, because this angle's down, not flat, you're going to struggle underneath it for getting the back of it in, because it's actually quite a deep piece of trim. You think about how much of it just sits out, there's a lot of it behind. So I'm going to aim somewhere around here in the middle. Luckily we've got some nice points, so we know exactly where the middle is on the back. I'm literally going to go for that bit there where the 2 points cross. That's where I'm hoping it'll be, which means it'll be about there, not too high, not too low. So I'm just going to get the drill ready and start making a hole. So the first thing I've done is just with a very small very small drill head, plastic drill head, is make a very small hole in here. I couldn't do it obviously straight down there because these pieces of plastic are so thin, so I've had to do it at an angle in, sort of a slight diagonal, to put the hole there. So that is going to be the centre of where the hub's going to be, like so. So next up is just to make the hole a little bit bigger until I get to the point where my hole saw bit, which is this big boy, is going to be the right size. Obviously we're quite a distance off that yet, but I'm going to slowly make the hole bigger and bigger, because you just need to take your time on this bit. If you rush it, you may end up with a crack maybe. It seems quite easy to drill through with a low speed, but yeah, just take your time with it and you'll get there. So hopefully in the next part of the video you'll see a bigger hole. So there we go, I'll just work my way up slowly but surely through the different bit sizes to the point now. It's a little bit untidy, bits of plastic there, but to the point now where my hole sawed bit will fit into the hole, so we can get the hole drilled next, which I'm going to do on camera. I'm going to tempt fate. We'll see how it goes. Just keep the camera rolling. So like I said, this hole saw is a 32mm one. I'm kind of lucky, it's the one that came with my drill bit set, which is a DeWalt set. So yeah, kind of lucky that it's the right size. So obviously once it's attached, there's the, come on folks, got dirty hands now, excuse me. So there's the bit that's going to go in, it's going to go in, and then it's going to start making this hole for us. That is the same size as this. So like I said, I'm going to tempt fate and do it whilst I'm recording. There we go. So that's ready to go. This is where it goes through the thing and through the worktop when I get beaten up by the missus. So I'm just going to get something just to rest it on. In fact, I'll use a drill bit box. So put that on there so the worktop's protected. Hold its own, but I will hold it at the same time. Hopefully you'll be able to see me do this. And let's go, it's tempt fate. So get the bit in. And again, it's all about speed. You do not need to rush this. Nice and slowly. Not going too fast. I'm not got my finger right on the trigger, just pushing slightly, low speed. this is where it could snap if I push too hard. Looks like we're nearly there. There we go. Just get rid of the excess bits of plastic and I'll show you what we're looking at. Okay, so one holy bit of trim. Our next bit is dead easy. So this is the USB hub. It comes with this screw on the back. Just undo that until it comes off. The little rubber ring, which is what holds the cap on, push that right down. We'll put that in to where it's going to live. So that's in. Turn around. Get the little bracket thing. And this will be interesting how this goes because of these raised bits of plastic. I don't know how well it's going to grip. We may need to shave them off. So let's see. But you see, because we've done the work already in the car, it'll be literally a case of taking it to the car and plugging on the 2 wires and it'll be done. So we're nearly at the bottom. Yeah, it's starting to grate against those bits now. Just obviously make sure we're straight. I think that looks straight to me. And we'll just keep turning the screw whilst pushing down. So I'm trying to keep this all on camera so you can see. But as you can see, guys, I mean, without the recording, this has probably taken me 15-20 minutes. It's a really simple mod, but you know, especially if you've got kids in the back, oh, my phone's not got any charge, my tablet's out of battery, you've got a brilliant little tool here to keep them quiet on them long journeys that hopefully we can all have again soon after COVID. So I think that's actually in pretty well. That ain't going nowhere. So that's how it sits. My sweaty fingerprints on now. So open her up, you've got your 2 USB ports and then the screen we can't currently see because it's not plugged in. But when that's down, you can still see the screen. There are so many different versions of this. You don't have to have a screen. I've chosen to because, you know, if you park up with the car off and, you know, your kid's got their battery charging, you don't know if your car battery is being affected quite badly by it. So you can keep an eye on the voltage, or at least your kid can tell you. You teach them about voltages. That's actually in quite well. You can see it is sitting on these prongs. A bit more tighten. I don't want to over tighten it. There we go. So let's now go down to the car, get it plugged in, and you'll get to see the finished result. So we're now back in the car. You just need to connect all these wires up. Just remember that your battery is currently connected if you still have it. So you need to keep these 2 apart, which I've done by keeping the sleeve on one of them whilst we connect the other. So on the back of the module we've just installed, if I can get it in camera, you can see just, I think there, we've got a plus and underneath is a minus. So the black will go to the minus, and once it's on we'll put the sleeve over the terminal to keep it nice and protected, and then the plus is the red one, and that's on. So you can see it's come on straight away. So what we need to do now is just pop all this back on, which is just with those clips. Make sure that the wire's out the way of any clips, it's not going to get damaged. And it just pushes back on. So making sure all them clips have attached. He says, just one to do. Not the easiest, there's quite a lot of clips to line up. Like I said, there's 8 of them, but that is now back in. Maybe could have gone a little bit lower so I could see that screen better, because I can't quite see the voltage. I can with it open, but with it closed I can't. But there we go, guys, that is it. It is a simple mod to do. This is going to be running off of the obviously off the socket in the glove box, so therefore it will stay on until I think it's about a minute after the car is locked. So don't worry too much about that, because I actually run my dash cam off of it, so I know that's what happens. It will turn off after about a minute. That's it, guys. Let me turn you around. So that's it. Ooh, if you can see me, I think you can see me. There we go. Yep. So that's it. Dead easy mod. Any questions, just fire them away in the comment section. Keep subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next video. See you later.